Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Learn to Become an Animator. In this video, I am going to show you how you can create a walk cycle like this step by step. Before we start in the Maya, let's understand what are the main poses for the walk cycle. In any walk cycle, in any basic walk cycle for the human, these are the main poses. One is contact, down, passing pose, up pose and the contact pose. Let's start creating the main poses in the Maya. So here we have a simple character walker rig. You can download this rig from the internet and it's free for learning purpose. Before you start any animation or any walk cycle, you just need to understand first what is the rig, what are the controls of the rig, how it's functioning. That would be very helpful while animating the characters. As I showed you, let's start creating the main poses for the walk cycle. First of all, we are going to create the contact pose, first and the last. This walk cycle is going to be 25 frame. So you can adjust the frame range first of all. You can select all the controls of the character and make the keys. If you have a difficulty to select one by one every time, you can just create a selection set or create a cell for the characters. For that, you just need to select all the knobs controls which you want to create a button for it and select from the script editor. Just drag and drop on the cell. So now we have a selection set for this character. Select all the controls and key at the first frame. Go to the left view, side view, and let's try to make the pose first. Is the ball roll. In the front foot, you can use the heel roll. Now select all the controls of this character and copy the same pose to the last frame. From front view, if you see, you have to rotate this upper body. Basically, this character has a lower body and the legs, so that we are going to treat as a hip area. So rotate in the Y direction. So from front, you can check like this. Go to the side view. Now at the frame 13, let's make it complete opposite pose. You can copy and the paste. Now we have a three poses, exact opposite. Now we have to create a passing pose. So let's create a passing pose here. Select all the controls, create a keys. Zero. Zero out all the controls so that you can easily understand. So this would be our passing pose. Passing pose also the same way we have to create the opposite. To see the all the view, both the view, we can split the layout side by side. So one here you can see the perspective view here. So it's easy to understand how we are doing it. Select all the controls, key, go to 19 again. You have to create exact opposite of 7, right? For that we can just copy and paste. That would be the easy. Copy this left leg, go here, paste on the right leg, right? The same way, go here, copy on the right leg, go to the 19, paste on the left leg. So you can see how we have the opposite leg. You can find easily in the perspective. So basically now we have 4 poses: contact pose, passing pose, contact pose again, opposite, passing pose, and the contact pose. So if you scrub the timeline, now you can see the character start walking. But we need to understand the movement of the body. So after the contact, the body is going to down because it's putting a weight on the character. So it will go down, then go to the passing pose, then go up, and then again the contact pose. So let's start. So after the contact, we have to create one pose where character goes down. Here we can create a down pose on the 4 frame 4. For that, go back, down, rotate it, push the ball roll. Because of its stationary walk cycle, as we push down the body, the front leg lands properly as well as goes start moving backward, and the back leg is also moving backwards. See? And it comes to passing pose again. So here we can push little bit more the upper body. I mean, make body little down, then up. Now here this pose will go even higher than this passing pose. Let's look at the graph at it. Here we have to move it little up. Right? In the same way, just click all, select all the controls and make the keys. We will look into the details that after creating the main poses and the walk cycles. So this pose we are going to make it little bit down, not completely up, right? The same way this side. What would be the down pose or down pose? We can use the same keyframe here. Using the walk cycle, use the ball roll for pushing the leg, right? to passing pose. We'll make this passing pose lower than the default height. So because of that, we will not get the pop in the knee area. Now go to the up pose. So basically both the opposite poses should match, and that will give a proper walk cycle. Now, let's scrub and see. Now the character started walking. See? But we have to make sure the proper pose. So go into the front and we'll make this pose little bit way. There we can see the balance. Push these legs inside in the x-axis. So to make it the throughout in the whole animation, we can just adjust this x-axis. Okay. So there we can feel our character even more balanced rather than walking in the broad legs, keeping the broad legs. Okay. So I would like to push here as well. Now we can see the character is walking. If you feel this rotation is little too much, you can just reduce the rotation, and we can delete this unnecessary keys if you want. I would like to reduce the rotation for both. The same thing we can keep here. But the opposite way. Yeah. Let's start tweaking the legs. The same way, when the leg is planted on the ground, we have to shift the body on that leg so it will look more balanced. Okay, right? Now let's look at the graph and make the adjustment. Let's split such a way that we can see all the views, and we can keep here graph editor. Now, let's adjust the body. Go to the front view so that we can easily check how the body is moving. Now we can see that our character is shifting the weight. Now before we move ahead, we have to just make sure that this foot should plant in a one frame or in a two frame. The same way goes here. When we create this cycle from stationary to the progressive, so we require this Z graph very proper. So I'll make this graph for this leg linear. Now you can see that we have did the linear linear graph for the uh, Z translation for the both the leg. So that will help us when we make this the same animation in the progressive. Progressive is nothing but the character right now it's walking at the one place. Then in the progressive we can make it that it walks away and the progress the walking. So let's see. Now we are going into little bit polishing. You can see we have a little bit pop in the knee area. The knee is popping. So we can adjust that graph. So yeah, that's the same way for the other leg. And make sure that the Z translation should be the same for the both leg. In that case, you can just copy the value and the paste it. The same way you can do for the back side. So we have these two value the same. The first frame and the last frame should match always. If we feel this character is going little bit more down, we can adjust that. By adjusting this, the main intention is it should not have any jerks or the pops in the walk cycle. Let's adjust the leg such a way that it should not penetrate in the ground. Now animate the toe a bit. Toe bend. So you can see the more looseness in the walk cycle while walking. The same way for the other leg. You can bend the toe a bit opposite side. Make straight leg to front. So we can see the flat weight into the ground. Yep. Now we have a time to offset the animation a little bit. Let's check into the graph editor. First of all, make all the animation pre-infinity cycle and the post-infinity cycle, so that when we offset any animation little bit like this, so it should be in a good. Yeah, I would like to offset this Y rotation little bit, like a 1 frame or 2 frame. All right. The same way, when the character goes up, this body or the hip should rotate like this, and while coming down, it should rotate backward. So for that, we can just animate first, then we can offset it. So we'll go to the down position. I mean, for the top position, we'll go and make it little downwards. Same way, we'll go to the down position and animate opposite. Now we can see the full graph is in this cycle. Just look at the animation, it's too much. Obviously we have a control on the graph, so we can just reduce it and check it how it looks. Match the first and last frame always for the looping the animation. Yeah, if we feel it's too much, still we have a control on the graph. Just delete this center frame, so the graph would be always clean. Yeah, now I would like to just offset for a 2 frame, so you can see the offset movement, you can see easily here. Okay, the same way I would go for the Z rotation as well a little bit. So when we the character comes in the passing pose, and for example on this frame, you can see the whole full weight is on the left leg, though it's obviously the hip should rotate in the opposite position like this, or that we can just have Z rotation here, same way the opposite passing pose like this. Now check the graph, go to the graph, delete this, go to the same, match the last and first frame here. Yeah, now you can see the weight shift is happening very easily. The same thing we can just offset a bit, so the weight shift is little bit delay. Can offset at least a 2 frame. Yes, see, as the foot is planted on the ground and afterwards the shift is happening. go to the perspective view and just play once so you can understand how it's going. Yeah, lovely. Now we can see the beautiful walk cycle. We can adjust so many things in the walk cycle, like for adding the attitude, how the foods are planted on the ground. This looks very straight to us right now. So generally people walk by keeping legs outside like this a bit. So we can just rotate overall the same way. We can rotate this leg opposite in the y-axis. So this looks even more natural. Yeah, to get even more natural feeling, when the leg is lifted in the air in the passing pose, we can just push these legs little bit inside. Then when it's going to land, it will go out, right? Not that much. Slowly it will go out and land. Same way for the opposite leg. Can have this foot inside. And the outside. You can select both the legs and check the x-axis, how it's going. It should be exact opposite type. Yep. So this graph here, you can check it out. Now we can see the walk cycle very nicely, and shifting the leg, shifting the weight shift on each other legs. See? Now if you feel this is going a little bit too much side by side, we can easily control it. We have a special like a graph. This should match, and right now check it out. While keeping like this, you should when we have a scope of deleting all the unnecessary keys. If you feel these are fine in the simple keys, if it is working, that's great. If you want little bit more delay in it, we can add here keys. So this is how you can learn the walk cycle in a simple way, starting from the simple poses and study the walk. This is how you can create, you can put some lights here and you can just render out the walk cycle. If you like my tutorial, you can subscribe and share. Thanks a lot.